What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers Without Filters podcast, episode 72. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson, and tonight I'm drinking a special concoction. All right, so just I gotta back up a little bit.
All right.
Tonight is my last day in the apartment in Minneapolis. It's very sad. I'm moving out tomorrow. And last night I ran out of beer and I ran out of seltzers. I'm out of alcoholic beverages, right?
Oh, jeez.
And I was packing up today, and I remember I have a little bit of vodka left, like just a couple fingers of vodka in a bottle in the cupboard. I'm like, I don't want to like bring this home. I should probably drink this tonight. I don't have anything to mix it with. I'm like, wait a second, there's a vending machine in the lobby. So I go out, vending machine, get myself a nice little bottle of Crush Orange.
Oh.
I like orange soda is good.
No. It's just where this is going.
Now the problem is, so I'm like, all right, I'll mix this up for my drink tonight. The problem is I already packed away all my cups. So what I did was I poured the entire bottle of Crush Orange into the bottle of vodka where the vodka remained. So I'm currently drinking a orange soda vodka mix out of a vodka bottle. And let me just say this: so far I can't taste the vodka, which either means one, it's not mixed strong enough, or two, it's all sitting at the bottom. I'm gonna get fucked later.
Yeah, dude, that's
just
dangerous.
like stir it up a little.
I tried. I did a little stir action, but I mean, there's a lot of volume of liquid here to
put the
diffuse.
cap in it and just like upturn it.
Yeah, with all like carbonation, get out of here.
Turn it slowly.
Good stuff.
God. Dude, that just reminds me of like college, like dorm drinking.
Take it out of the bottle.
What do I got? I got Mountain Dew and rum.
I guess I know what I'm drinking tonight.
Whatever you can get your hands on.
Yeah, so I'm Joseph, and I'm once again drinking the Voodoo Ranger 1985, the cool-ass can. But tonight I poured it into a glass so you can see how fucking opaque it is.
Ooh.
That's hazy, baby.
It is.
See.
It is as thick as it gets. It's got like 4 C's. Pretty damn tasty.
All right. Well, I'm Gabe, and I'm drinking the Bauhaus Brew Labs Lounge Wizard Juicy Hazy Pale Ale. Here's the crowler.
Classic.
And the reason this is a crowler is because Targets around Minneapolis are currently closed.
And Total Wine.
And Total Wine due to the recent riots and looting of stores. Luckily, me and Joseph are less than half a mile from a fucking brewery, so
from like 3 breweries.
Yeah, so I needed some brews, and we went on a walk and got some crowlers. So doing double duty tonight.
Nice.
I didn't realize they closed a Target by us. I thought I mean, obviously the one that got burned, like obviously, but I didn't think they'd close other Targets.
Yeah, even some towns like over, like some suburbs are even closing. So
I mean, I totally get like closing early at night, but like during the day, like, I don't know. That's insane.
Yeah, a lot of Total Wines closed at like 3 p.m. today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we buy beer, we rotate because there's 3 of us, and we all just kind of like buy a 30 and then just drink it, and the next person just go through a rotation. And Tim, the guy who has the cast iron skillets that we've shat on, it was his turn, and he works from home at the moment, and he called a bunch of places, even like the liquor stores around the area, and they're all closed. So
even at like our go-to Sentiers apparently was closed.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
So we support local today. I mean, we always buy local shit. But...
and I'm Dayton, and I am drinking the Bruno, the baby beer cat again. I drank this a few weeks ago, and yeah, it's my last one that I've got. I'm just cleaning out everything before I move.
Yep.
So
yeah, Dayton and I were in the same boat today, packing everything up.
Yep.
It's a bitch and a half.
Never fun.
Moving is never fun, dude. Fucking sucks.
Yeah. Once I'm doing a lot of moving in the next few months, kind of like Gabe your last summer, but.
It's
what it is.
Annoying.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you settle, that's nice.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. As always, you can find our show every Monday on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Play. Just search Engineers Without Filters podcast, but you're already listening to it, so you would already know that. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EWF Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitch at EWF_podcast, where we're live right now streaming or recording the episode. You can come watch it early on Thursday nights around 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So if you're into that, come check us out on Twitch. Before we get into the main topic tonight, I do want to touch on the Minneapolis situation. So when we're recording this on Thursday, May 28th. So this is like 2 weeks before you're going to be hearing it. So we won't talk about it too much because it'll probably be, hopefully, everything passed by the time you're hearing it.
Well, at least the riots will be passed, not like the movements, but
Yeah. I mean, like the craziness and destruction, and hopefully the police officer who killed a man is in jail. But yeah, things have been kind of crazy the past couple of days. If you somehow
The
didn't hear about
pandemic
it.
wasn't enough.
Yeah, the
More
pandemic
crazy.
wasn't enough. If you hadn't heard, there was a man, George Floyd, who was in the process of getting arrested by Minneapolis police, and at one point was put on the ground, and the police officer put his knee on his neck for 8 minutes, and the man died.
After begging, saying he can't breathe
Yeah,
multiple
It's-
times.
there's 4 police officers just standing around watching it happen, and people recorded it. Super, super shitty, obviously, and just shouldn't have happened. And there's been riots in Minneapolis the past 2 days, which I didn't really understand the scale of until this morning, actually. I woke up and I went on Reddit, and I was like, Minneapolis last night, I could see the fire from like, a mile away. I'm like, what fire? I'm like, oh shit, like there was actually like riots last night, people like setting stores on fire and looting and stuff, and it was just like fucking terrible, honestly. So it's been a little bit scary. I don't know how you guys have felt about it, Gabe and Joseph, but I was feeling pretty depressed last night and this morning just because, you know, because it's the police, it doesn't feel like there's anything that can be done. Like you can't really vote for people, that would be better. Or like I've read a lot of things recently in the Minneapolis subreddit about how the head of the police union in Minneapolis is kind of a shitty guy, and it's like he's voted on by police officers. So it just feels like there's not a lot that can be done, and on top of that, people are just going too far and having destruction of property, and it's just really shitty right now on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, so we kind of talked about it a little bit before, obviously, like when we got home, because like the big riots kind of started last night as far as like burning and looting, and I mean the more and more we talked about it, I guess like because so for reference, right now it's mostly in like the south part of town, and
South Minneapolis, uptown, and I think a little bit creeping into like downtown area. Downtown's where like the protests were, but like the riots were like south.
So I just moved from uptown, so that's interesting. I mean, there's a couple of videos I saw on Reddit that were literally like where I on the same street that I like went to the gym, which is crazy. But it just seems kind of ridiculous that like people have lost sight of. I mean, I'm all for like peaceful protests, right? Like obviously it's a terrible thing that happened
Of
to
course,
them,
yeah.
and you should speak your mind about it. But I don't think the answer is just more and more violence. And I've seen people even on like Twitter say that it's okay for them to be violent, and it's just like
It's not.
there are people. They're like, oh well, it's just a corporation because they destroyed a Target completely. Like it's completely shelled out, and an AutoZone burned down, and it's just kind of crazy because like I was thinking we were talking how like maybe some people got a job there because of the pandemic, like they need extra work. Now they can't even go to work because it's burned down, or like people who rely on getting food from the Target, right, or getting goods because they don't have vehicles or like proper transportation. And it's just seems like it's causing more and more issues than what it's worth, and almost to the point where like the police were so distracted defending their precinct because that was like the big part that people realized they could take advantage of it, right? And people are already getting hurt. Like last night, pawn shop owner like killed a guy who was trying to loot his pawn store. And it's just like you're causing more and more violence. It's causing more and more death. It just, to me, it defeats the purpose of the protest. It puts it in a bad light.
Exactly.
I'm sure not everybody wants it to be that way, right?
No, and I want to be clear. Like based on whatever, I mean, the vast majority of the protests are peaceful. It's just a
Right.
few bad eggs who, like you said, are taking advantage of the police, defending the precinct, or maybe the police not wanting to intervene and causing more.
Mhm.
They don't want to get filmed doing something else that could, blow them up. But it's just like, guys, like, what are you doing? Like Gabe said, like, it just invalidates the protest because violence begets violence, and you're just making things worse. So,
Mhm. I mean,
but
they've even brought in the National Guard at this point, and there's a National Guard post, 2 blocks from us, Joseph.
Yeah,
So hopefully
it's
that
pretty
doesn't
close.
get targeted by anybody, because
I mean, we're in Northeast. We're a good couple miles north of everything
and across the river and stuff.
and across the river. I can't imagine that like the looting
don't
and
say
all that.
it.
Huh?
You're gonna jinx us.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can't imagine that'll get all the way here. Um, but I could see protests going on, but I don't know. I don't think. What do I know? But I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
So I was telling Dave before the podcast, I'm kind of relieved to be leaving Minneapolis tomorrow. And like you said,
Yeah.
Joe, I don't think it'll get to the part of town where we are, but
I don't think so.
it's just really shitty. And it's just like Minnesota has in the past, I think the past year, maybe that's the wrong time frame. There's been 4 major incidents where somebody has died at the hands of police, and 3 of those were at the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department. And it's just like something is wrong, and
Hmm.
I don't know how to fix it. I've been reading a lot of stuff on the subreddits, like the residency of police officers actually like live in Minneapolis is really low compared to a lot of other departments across the country. And also there's very few Minneapolis police officers who are from Minneapolis. And then people are saying that might be an issue of just them not understanding the communities they work in. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just like I said, it doesn't feel like there's anything that the average person can do to like fight those things. I mean, maybe you can vote in certain people into Congress, like representatives that can maybe do something, but it just feels I feel kind of powerless right now, and it just sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't personally watched all the video because it's obviously a little bit uncomfortable. It's a
Yeah.
terrible thing that's happened, but I don't know. It's just, I mean, what's done is done, unfortunately, and they definitely need to be charged for it. But I don't know. Also, the people who would be charging them are themselves, so there's a little bit of conflict of interest. And
Yeah.
It's
that
like the
happens a lot. You see
Spider-Man
that?
meme.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Spider-Man meme, like pointing at
But
each
you see
other.
that time and time again where cops do something terrible, or like they accidentally kill someone, and like we've investigated ourselves and we have done nothing wrong. It's like, of course, like all of
And
a
I think
sudden
I think the FBI is involved at this point, so hopefully
they
that'll
are,
change
yeah.
things.
Mhm.
Fucking Trump tweeted about it, and it's just like your words mean nothing. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna look into this. We're gonna take a good look at it." It's like, yeah, okay. Um, but
Yeah.
the last thing I'll say is I saw a subreddit today. I think it was the governor of Mississippi. Did you guys see this?
Mm-mm.
No.
One of the head people of Mississippi tweeted, or like, yeah, I think he tweeted, was like, well, if he was able to say I can't breathe, he was obviously still able to breathe. So
Mm.
it's like
Jesus.
the guy died from asphyxiation.
Right.
Fuck off. Like, why would you say that? Like, it's such a bad. Ugh.
He still died, right?
Yeah, it's like, how more tone deaf can you be? Like, I don't care if you're trying to save face with your police department, but it's just like, fuck off. Like, this is everyone agrees this shouldn't have happened,
Yeah.
and this was against protocol and against procedure for police officers. They aren't taught to do this. So
Yeah.
Meanwhile, people are protesting the fucking Michigan governor with assault rifles and no issue,
we want a
no.
haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was literally what the protests were about.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
I have,
give yourself a haircut. That's what I do.
That's not working for me, dude.
Yeah,
I'm too afraid to trim the top. The top's very long, but the sides are short.
When
Yeah, I
when
don't
will
know.
2020 like this fucking hell end?
Yeah.
Never.
So I
Like,
have a
nice voice
or not
crack.
podcast.
Thanks. I was hoping we were just gonna move past it.
Hell no, dude. I'm
Fuck.
calling you out on that shit.
Fuck.
I have a Spotify playlist. It's called the Daily Drive, and basically it's 5 to 10 minutes of like the biggest headlines in the news from NPR, which is like, the track record's pretty like neutral. They try not to be super biased. in the last week, it's been Michigan and Minneapolis, and it's just like it's just so crazy to me. I don't know. It just feels like the world is on fire. That's what I told Joseph earlier. Like it's just not stopping. Like I don't know. It just
I mean, it's literally been on fire recently with, I mean, Australia earlier this year. Then
yeah.
Minneapolis is literally on fire now.
I know. It just seems like it's one thing after another, and it could just be like uh, our attention to the news now, just because like the coronavirus has got us like attached to checking for news. Which I mean, at this point, there isn't much more new news except the death toll keeps getting higher. But I don't know. It just seems like more than usual. There's just a lot of
It's yeah.
fucked up
2020
shit
has
happening.
been just a kick in the fucking teeth to everyone, I think, in some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry if this brings it down. Listen to it, but I think I don't know. I at least want to get some stuff off my chest because I've been feeling down about it. But hopefully, like I said, it's 2 weeks after we record this. You're hearing it, so hopefully by then, the correct people are in jail and the, you know, destruction in Minneapolis has been more or less resolved, and people are still protesting this issue.
Who knows? It could be Mad Max by the time this goes out. So
Who knows, man?
Yeah. Spotify is just a remnant of human by the time this episode drops.
All right, so let's get into our main topic tonight. So this is one I'm a little bit stealing, but I'm modifying it. So let's do a podcast recently about, you know, what is the value of a $60 video game to you? And the question is kind of based in, you know, pretty much every video game that comes out these days is $60. That's just fact. If it's a,
Well,
you know,
AAA games, right? Like
AAA,
indie
AAA
games.
game.
Indie
Indie games
games
are
are,
usually like 20.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're whatever. I mean, Golf with Friends is $5.
It's not
Not even.
$5 anymore. It's 15 now that it actually released from alpha
It's
or early
full.
access or whatever they called it.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah, I
like
bought the
indie
game
games are
for
usually less than 30. There is some like very rare mid-range games that are 40 you see every once in a while, but every like AAA release, like Dayton said, is $60. And that doesn't matter if the game is an online game, a single player only game, how many hours it takes to beat. It's flat 60. How much money it costs to make. It's always $60. And it was an interesting discussion because like, you know, I'm alluding to like some games you could have 120 hours of content where others only have, you know, 15 or 20, but they cost the same price. Like, is that fair? Some games use a lot more people and technology to make, and it costs a lot more money to make, but they have to sell it for the same price because if you increase the price of games at this point, people will just consumers will freak out. I guess I don't know. I think games should start increasing in price because of this modern technology and stuff. But in any case, no matter what you're getting, it's $60, right? So that made me think of what is to each of us like what is the value of money to you? And by that I mean like when you're looking to buy something, why do sometimes you say, oh, that's too expensive or that's not expensive enough? Just a quick example, right? I feel like anybody can relate to this. When you're on like the app store on your phone, you're like, all right, looking for a new mobile game. If it's not free, I'm not buying it. Like if it's $1, $2, $5, I don't care how good it is. I'm not spending money on a mobile game, right? But people are okay buying a $5 coffee every single day, or we're okay getting a pizza for, you know, $13. Not even thinking about it, right? That might be a little bit apples and oranges, but you know what I mean. Like $5 is nothing in one scenario, and it's everything in another. And it's like, why do we think that way? So I kind of want to discuss how we view money.
Before we get into that, I don't know the answer, which is why I'm asking this. How long have like AAA games been $60?
at
So
least for
it's
PS3, I'm pretty sure they were $60 for the PS3.
I think GameCube
PlayStation.
games were 40, weren't they? Or they were 50.
so okay. Nintendo's was the longest holdout. Nintendo's games were $50 up until the Switch. All Wii U games are 50, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah,
As
all
far
Wii
as the main like third parties, Xbox and PlayStation, I don't believe there's been a price increase since the PS2 generation, the PS2 original Xbox. I think when they went to like 360 and PS3, like Joseph said, I think that's when there was
They
a hike to
bumped up to
60.
60? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
it
wasn't
hasn't
certain
changed
if it
since
was
then.
like they've been at 60 for like the past like 20 years or something like that. Because obviously that like with inflation that's
less
gonna
money.
not match up.
Yeah.
But I guess I would also say that the market for video games is a lot bigger now.
Mhm.
And also the way that they monetize their games is vastly
Very
different than it
different.
was from PS2.
But I would argue that's a response to the unchanging price point. Like because they have to sell for 60, they have to include more microtransactions, more DLC, other ways to get you to spend money because they're not making enough on the box.
Yeah, that's fair. No.
I think that
Like, I
ties
wonder
into
if-
the apps too. Like how when
Yep.
you're like, if the mobile game ain't free, I'm not playing it.
Yep.
Like then of course, like if the game's free, they're putting out a product and they're not getting any money back, so they're gonna have to, you know, make up their money somehow, and that's through microtransactions.
Or ads.
Buy gems. Gems
Or
speed
both.
up your castle. And you can raid fast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Classic.
And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people, at least people in like the circles I follow, are like, if you just made a quality game for $3 without any ads or microtransaction bullshit, I would get it on my phone. But people make those and then people don't buy them. So it's just but then they end up paying $20 on a free mobile game through a bunch of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So that mindset is so interesting to me.
It's probably like more of like a psychology of value, I guess. Like when I think of like when going back to the example of video games, like I'm gonna buy a $60 game. I bought a $20 game, Rocket League. That was what, $25, Dayton?
20
$20.
It's
I've put
gonna eventually be
500
free
hours.
though.
Yeah, I put 500 fucking hours in that game, and it was $20. But I
But
bought
how many-
$60 games.
How many keys have you bought though? When keys were still a thing.
Lifetime probably 30, which are $1 a piece.
Right.
So like obviously they find a way to make up for that through cosmetics, like things that make your car look cool or whatever. But at the same time, I've spent $60 on like most recent example, the new Doom game came out. And it was probably 20 hours if you like really stretch it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to look at it as like dollars per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're buying a movie ticket, it's what, depending on where you go,
Like
$5 to $10.
Yeah, per hour. Yeah.
Depending on how, I don't know, upkept your area is, like the theater. I mean, Owasso or my hometown is like $5, just because it's not a lot of people go. Anyways,
Bumfuck nowhere.
yeah. For video games, if I do like anywhere from $1 to $2 an hour, that's worth it for me. So if I can get 30 hours out of a 60-hour game, to me that's value. And also like the quality of that time is very important to me. And I think that's where I put a lot of value into things. So like if it's only a 30-hour game, but it's like a very, very good game where everything is different and it's not like repetitious, and that's the way
Repetitive.
I made that up. Repetitive. I made up a word. Idiot.
That crawler's hitting already, huh?
Maybe. Okay, I had a G&T before this. All right. Yeah, if it's like repetitive, it's worth less to me. It's like the quality of the time and the quality of the experience, and that's kind of how I am with like. So I bought a new computer parts recently, like you did, and I bought a new phone and I bought a new car. All with it. It's been buying a lot of stuff.
Spending that money.
It's that engineering salary, huh? Huh, Joseph? Huh, Gabe?
Joseph.
Dude, Gabe's gonna single-handedly keep the economy from collapsing because of Corona.
Dude, that's part of my excuse. No, but to me, the excuse for buying those things, and I'm going to use the word justification. I'm not going to use the word excuse because that's a bad word. Is I use them every day, hours a day. Like I drive my car an hour of a day minimum. 30 hours one way, 30 hours the other.
30 hours one way?
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck,
You gotta
dude.
move, man.
I spend 30 out of 24 hours of my day in a car. 30 minutes each way. And I use my phone, obviously, quite a bit because everyone uses their phone. And on my computer, at least an hour of the day. And to me, if I'm gonna use it as like a tool or as, I mean, a tool first, right? Like a car is, like you were saying in the last episode, Joseph, it's a tool to get somewhere. I want that experience to not be like, not do its job as a tool. And I mean, I guess the phone and the computer is a little bit more of a fun thing, but I don't want it to be such a shitty experience that or like a frustrating experience if I'm gonna use it, you know? So that's kind of where I put my value, is like the amount of time that I'm gonna put into it.
Joseph, when you're making a purchase, what's your thought process behind cost?
A combination of time and frustration. So similar to like what Gabe was saying, but like when like most of the things that I buy, I like spend money on, I would say are to like enhance experiences. If that makes sense? Like I buy camping gear.
Alcohol.
I just bought a bike.
Alcohol.
Not really where I was gonna go, but decent example.
The big
But
love
like
fits, Joseph. The big love fits.
exactly. But like I don't know, when I bought like camping gear, like, all right, is this gonna be something I'm gonna get a decent amount of usage out of, but it's also again not gonna be a shitty usage out of. Like I want to make sure that the pack that I got was like comfortable and like fit me well. But also is like not, no offense to ultralight, but not paper thin and won't, fall apart after the third use of it.
You are misunderstood. You have misunderstood ultralight, Joseph.
I have.
You do
I
not
think it's almost
understand the
like
material advances.
Oh my god. It's
Yeah,
almost like last episode though, where it's like you want to put in a certain amount of money so you actually enjoy the experience with it, right?
Exactly.
It's a barrier to entry.
Yeah. But I think that is not just time, but like, yeah, experience along with it. Like I'm not gonna just throw down, a couple $1,000s on a bike if it's not gonna be what I want to get out of it. I'm not gonna buy.
Get one from Walmart. And
I'm not that, but I'm also, I don't know, not gonna buy like a $2,000 road bike if I'm not gonna use it on the road.
Weak.
Okay.
If you're
I
not
tell you,
mountain biking with a road bike, that's weak sauce. Get out of here.
dude, I got
get
passed
a
by a
bike.
guy the other day on like a road frame.
Yeah,
Like
probably
he had
doing
the
cyclocross shit.
probably like they weren't road tires obviously, but like it had like the ram horn handlebars
Yeah, it's
and like the very
cyclocross.
upright frame. I
Mhm.
was impressed.
Yeah, dude, those guys go hard. It's
Yeah.
something that I want to buy an old mountain bike frame or an old road
Mhm.
bike frame and convert it into a cyclocross bike or like a gravel bike.
Yeah.
Those things you can haul ass on.
That's kind of like Surly bikes, right? They're kind of like those like
Yeah.
gravel bikes.
Yep. Mhm. What's that look for,
I-
Gabe?
Huh?
What's that
I
look
don't know.
for?
It's like, okay, I got this thing, all right? You can't just combine things and then get the best of both worlds. It never works. It never does. There's a reason there's like different types of bikes, and there's a
I
reason
never
there's different
said
types
that
of
it
cars.
was the best of both worlds.
I know. I just feel like you can't. I don't know. I just
You're
feel
telling
like
me you don't like PB&J sandwiches? You're telling me you don't like Frisbaki at Michigan Tech? I mean,
okay. Okay, if you go to snowboards, right? There's powder boards and there's all mountains, and admittedly, mine is a combination of both of those things. But it
The
doesn't
truth
do
comes
both.
out.
No, but it doesn't do both perfectly. It just does a blend, which is like if you're fine with that, that's what you want. Cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you can't
and like
expect.
with cyclocross bikes or like gravel bikes, you can haul ass with them, except your body's gonna like take a toll because it has no suspension. So like
Right.
you have to be okay with that. And
I
of
guess,
course they
like,
can't
just-
tackle the same shit that a full suspension bike can.
Right.
But they haul
I-
ass on like somewhat rough terrain.
I gotcha. I couldn't like imagine holding a ram horn like handlebar and like being even like capable at all on like the trails. I would just fucking eat shit left and right.
Well, I feel like you have to be used to those first. Like you
Yeah.
can't just jump full into like that style of riding
Yeah, you try to
into like an off-road trail,
Mm-hmm.
Dayton, we've talked about on this podcast a few times your propensity to research things heavily before buying them.
Mm-hmm.
When does price come into your criterion? Is it always there? Is it once you determine a few things you like, then you look at the price?
Price really doesn't play that much of a factor for me. if I do my research and the thing that's best is like a mid-range product, then all right, I'll buy that. And if it ends up being like $300 more than I expected to get what I want, then I'll just save up for longer and get that thing. I mean, to an extent, of course. Like, I'm not gonna, if I'm looking for like a new, I'm gonna like, this is like a very facetious argument here, but if I'm looking for a new belt, okay, I'm not gonna go to Goodwill and buy one like the canvas belts that have like the double D rings. And
Hot take: those belts suck. And I know you wear them all the time, Jacob, but fuck you,
I don't.
they
Okay,
suck.
I want to make
They're the
something clear. I
worst
don't wear
type
them
of belt.
all the time. They're like my shorts belt. Like when I wear shorts, there's a belt that's always on there, so I don't get rid of them. But I'm in the process of taking those out of the rotation.
Burn them.
Okay, but back to the argument here. I don't consider those the best thing, except also like Gucci belts, right? They serve the same fucking purpose
Yep.
as like a fucking $3 belt does. So like it's gonna lie somewhere in the middle. So it's probably gonna be like I don't know, like a $40 or $50 belt. Like, so I'm not saying like that money, like in my opinion, like that money or cost generally makes it a better product. But in my what I find in my research is like if you spend like more, then and you save up longer, then you can get a better product. So I guess that's my reasoning for it.
And along those lines, I mean, to me, like, what I care about is quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as I'm paying for quality, then I'm fine. I'm not paying for a brand name. You know what I mean?
Quality versus luxury.
Exactly.
Function
And
over fashion. That's how I live my life.
Exactly. So I have my clothes.
That's why
all
you wear
like
cargo
shit.
shorts.
Yeah. You know how many? You get 2 extra pockets. What, the same pair of shorts, 2 extra pockets? How can you not beat that value?
Because you look like a dumbass.
And they're
That's
big.
why.
Joseph, they're big pockets too.
They are big pockets. You can fit at least 2 beer cans per pocket.
Does your girlfriend know that you wear those?
Yeah, she does. All
I'm
right.
sorry.
She's still with you, though?
She is too. Huh?
She's still with you?
At the time of recording, who knows?
Dude, we're
2
also
weeks from
gonna-
now, TBD.
Where else is he gonna keep all the condoms he's gonna need? All in his cargo shorts.
Cargo shorts, man. They've never done me wrong before.
You don't need condoms with cargo shorts.
Nah, dude, they keep you afloat when you're drowning in
Keep
pussy.
you afloat.
You can blow them up for some water wings.
Yeah. That's what those pockets are for. They're pockets of air when you're drowning in pussy. You just gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I really wish I was wearing cargo shorts right now. I almost put them on, but I was like, nah, not feeling it today. I don't need the pockets.
See, my thing
back
with
to
cargo.
what I was saying.
Hang on a second.
Oh.
I want to talk about cargo
Okay,
shorts.
sorry,
some
we're
more.
on this tangent.
Cargo shorts.
The train has changed.
Dude, cargo shorts I think would be okay if they were shorter. I hate that cargo shorts are like hang over your knees. Like I'm a big fan of short shorts. Like I'm talking like anywhere in the inseam between like I would even consider like 3-inch inseam to 7-inch inseam.
You're a Daisy Duke kind of dude.
Yeah, dude. Like they're shorts. They're shorts. Like I'm wearing them because I want to have something that covers my nasty bits, but also is like is not uncomfortable to wear when it's hot out. So
You wear booty shorts just for the function.
yeah, dude. Fucking
keep
booty
it cool.
shorts rock. Like,
That's all I was asking.
I'm with Dayton and Joseph on this one. So Joseph, you know me, I love me some cargo shorts. Just the other day, I had to go to the corner store, pick up a couple things. I needed an extra thing of lunch meat. I needed some beer to bring to you guys as a gift. So I walk over there, I get my little pack of lunch meat, I get my beer, and they didn't give me a bag. So I put my lunch meat in my cargo short pocket because it was big enough. It was too big for my regular pockets.
Dude, it was 80 today.
It was a couple days ago. It was fine. It's a short walk.
Okay.
But they saved my ass, Joseph. I don't want to walk carrying that in my hand. Get out of here. Cargo shorts.
yeah, man. Instead of being a fucking weak man and carrying a bag that looks like a purse, you're gonna put them in your cargo short pocket.
I'm trying to save the environment, Dayton. They only had
Use
plastic bags.
Fucking reusable bag. Fucking.
I'm not gonna
bring
carry
it.
a massive reusable bag to carry one thing.
Why don't
I'm
you
just
have
gonna
ones
put it in a
different
cargo shorts.
sizes? You're not a true. I don't know.
Environmentalist or whatever.
Yeah.
But Dayton, I'm also on your side, and I think the turning point to me between the length of shorts going beyond the knee to above the knee was New Zealand. because if you go to, I think it's probably true of any European or foreign country, more that's close to us in culture. The guys wear shorter shorts. It's just a
Yeah.
thing. And like when you get there, you're like something is different, but I can't put my finger on it. And people will tell you, "Oh yeah, I can spot Americans just by looking at them." I'm like, "How?" Then I'm like, "Wait, it's their clothes." But what about their clothes is different? Then I realized we just wear baggier things in general. Maybe it's just guys. That's
Mhm.
why it's guys. I'm generalizing. Baggier like sweatshirts, baggier jeans, and baggier, a little bit longer shorts. And I'm like, wait a second. I was looking around. All the guys are wearing shorts above the knee. And I'm like, they look pretty good. These guys are looking hot. All right, I
Mhm.
gotta get me some of these shorter shorts. Um, so yeah, and I mean, Dayton just bought some shorts at J. Crew Factory on a hot deal recently, so we're gonna be looking hot
Oh,
this
and I
summer.
got 2 new pairs of shorts today, which I showed Gabe and Joseph while you're getting your drink, Jacob. But they're nice and short, and they got a fun pattern on them. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. For the people who watch
Yeah.
video,
For the viewers.
for the viewers,
Dude,
I'll
this is
show
gonna
off
be
the
the
pattern.
thumbnail.
Like, look
Make
at
it the thumbnail.
the pattern
Ooh.
here. Look at that. They're
It's just- oh, we got
birds.
some cheek action going on.
That's some flamingo action.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners, it's birds, and then
It's
we
like
saw
a
Dayton's butt
yeah, it's like a
for a little
pattern birds.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I
What?
mentioned, I'm trying to take my cargo shorts out of rotation, unfortunately, Joseph, because it's not that they're cargo shorts, it's that they're beyond the knee, and it just doesn't look
See,
good.
I revamped my shorts a couple years ago, and they're all above the knee. And honestly, it gives me anxiety. I hate my knees showing. It goes back to my
This goes back to the few episodes ago.
me being squirmish with my knees. Same shit. Makes me uncomfortable. Don't like thinking about my
Need them
knees.
protected by
Yeah.
your extra pockets.
Yeah, it does not have to do with the pocket. I
think it
like
does.
short. It used to be worse because none of my shorts cover my knee at this point. But I used to be really bad about like having like I remember buying shorts like in larger sizes so they would be longer and cover my knees. 'Cause it fucking it's I still my knees are
Joseph.
exposed and it feels weird.
Joseph, do you ever do that thing with like your knee where like if you're laying on the ground or sitting on the ground and you like relax your leg and you could like move your kneecap back and forth?
Yeah, I hate that. Fuck that.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing it right
Ugh.
now. It feels cool.
I did shit as a kid all the time.
Makes me sick.
So back to the topic. Yeah, I was talking about how I like to pay for quality, and I think a good example is pizza. All right.
Mhm.
So when I'm going out for a pizza,
You're gonna get that Little Caesars.
No, I'm getting that Element Pizza across
That
the
Little
street.
Caesars.
And
As
you know
we
what?
always got.
The first time I got Element, Joseph took me there, and I'm like, this is a little more expensive than I've been wanting to pay, because you get a pizza and I eat it all in one sitting. It's one meal, right? And it's like $13-14, right? Whereas I go to Domino's, I can get like a large pizza and like cheese bread for $14, and that lasts me 3 meals, right? But it's about the quality, Dayton, as I can tell by your moans. Yeah, it costs more, but I'm paying for some good fucking pizza, and it's gonna make me happy and satisfied. Whereas Domino's, yeah, it's a better deal because of the meal to cost ratio, but I feel like shit. So much fucking grease, right? So it's about the quality for me, and yeah, I don't fuck paying for brand names if you get the same quality at a lower price, right? I mean, if like the generic Cub or Target brand is just as good,
The generic vanilla wafers brand.
But they're not as good.
all right, dude, you got me there. You got me there. Sometimes I need the name brand because it's nostalgia purposes, okay? But in general, and then also, I think what it comes down to a lot, where if I look at something like that's too expensive, it comes down to like what I'm used to paying, I guess, and like, I guess it goes back to the video game argument. Like if you walk to the store to get, I don't know, we don't buy games physically anymore, but like say you go to buy Cyberpunk that comes out and it was $80 instead of 60. I'd still get it because I really want to play that game, but I'd be like, oof, $80. Like I'm not used to that, and I would wonder how much sales they would lose because of that higher price point. And the same thing when I'm like, trying to pick out a new salsa or some product I haven't bought before in a long time, or my normal brand isn't available. I gotta weigh my options. Like, okay, here's the price range. I'm comfortable paying this amount roughly. Here's the items. What's their quality? It seems, I get trying to gauge all these factors of the quality, the price, the budget, sort of stuff. And this last thing, back to what Gabe said with movies, right? Over the years that we've grown up, I feel like movie tickets have gone up pretty significantly in price. I mean, with the rise of like the layback chairs in theaters and stuff, like it's not uncommon to see
IMAX alone,
IMAX. Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon to pay $12-15 for a movie ticket in some places, whereas I feel like $8 or $7 was like the standard when we were growing up. So I remember when that first started happening, it's like, oof, like do I want to pay like $11? And it's kind of like I want to see the movie, so I guess I have to. But I feel like it's made me more like when I look at reviews, I'm like, if this movie isn't reviewed well enough, I'm not gonna pay money to see it in a theater. And maybe that's unfair because reviews are just people's opinions, but I care a lot about reviews now because I don't want to quote unquote waste money. So.
I don't know. Some of my favorite movies have gotten poor reviews initially.
Yes.
Okay,
But
I was
what
gonna
you're
say,
saying
Joseph. Fuck Sharknado.
Okay,
Fuck the
that
whole
didn't come out
series.
in theaters. I'm not talking about Sharknado here.
Fuck Sharknado. That's all.
Okay, have you seen it?
Yeah, the first one was dog shit.
Okay, well, you've only seen one of the 6.
Oh,
right?
It's so bad. Why are there 6 of these fucking movies?
Because they make money, Gabe.
Yeah.
But they
I
don't
was
go in
talking
theaters.
about.
They can't be making that much money.
Yeah, they don't come out in theaters. That was not my point at all. I was talking about Grand Budapest Hotel. That is a fantastic movie.
Did that get better reviews out of the gate?
Yes, it did. So did Cloud Atlas. I don't know if you've seen it. It's really long.
Terrible
but
movie.
It's really good. I liked it. I know you would hate it. I'm not surprised.
Is Cloud Atlas the Channing Tatum one or the Tom Hanks one?
That's the Tom Hanks one.
Yeah.
Okay. It's got Tom Hanks, Hugo Weaving, and
Dude.
I forget who else the main actress is in that.
Oh, yeah, dude, I remember that coming out and people were saying it was really bad.
Yeah, I saw it.
Long.
Yeah, because it was long. I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. It had a really cool theme, and it was well done. Plus, I liked all the actors in it, actors and actresses. So.
Yep, dude. Tom Hanks doesn't get much better.
Hugo Weaving can't beat fucking Mr. Smith / Elrond. So, that's top tier.
Fantastic.
I agree with
point,
you, Joseph.
Joseph.
It's just like it's really hard for me to get motivated to see a movie if it gets bad reviews. I mean, that's not been my own propensity to like be obsessed with reviews, I guess. But it's just, even a movie I was excited about, if it gets like a 6, I'm like, oof. I'll maybe watch it on Netflix now.
I don't know. I purposefully don't read reviews because I'm gonna have my own opinion about it. Regardless of what other people say.
But
like,
what about
also sometimes the dog shit movies are the most fun to see.
Yeah.
Like Sharknado.
I agree with you with the movie point, Joseph, but as an avid consumer of reviews on especially products, if I didn't have reviews of these products, I don't think I'd ever buy anything.
I feel like gear
were to you.
But I would say gear reviews are different than movie reviews because movie reviews are art, right? Movies are art.
Yeah,
like you can't. That's a fact, and everyone's gonna interpret that art differently. Gear reviews are, hey, I've used this. This broke after X amount of uses, X amount of miles, X amount of whatever. This did not last what it said it was gonna last. I think that is an incredibly different type of review.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you.
Whereas, like, oh, this is ugly, 1 star. Like, the fuck? Get that.
Yeah, I was gonna. But I also would say that gear reviews can also be deceiving sometimes, because like if you look at just like the aggregate average star rating or whatever, it might be lower than it should be because you look on the reviews themselves. Somebody's like, oh, it took them 3 weeks to ship it out. 1 star. It's like, okay, well that sucks. But that wasn't like a review of the product. It was a review of the experience you had trying to get the product.
That's why you read the reviews rather than just the.
I know. Some people don't. Some people just look at the star rating and they say,
Dude, I go one step further and I watch the YouTube reviews, the video reviews.
That's where you get the good reviews because those. I mean, you have a better chance that those aren't just bots. Well, I guess they're not bots, but they could still be paid out.
Yeah, so they could be gotten paid by the person.
Yeah, I like to find the channels that have like less than like 1,000 subscribers and then watch their videos because it's like there's no chance that these people are getting fucking paid off for this shit.
Yeah.
Like they got 1,000 subs.
Yeah, we only have like 12 subs, so we're scot free, everyone. We're not getting paid by anybody, obviously.
You know you're hearing this shit from the horse's mouth.
Someone actually thinks Sharknado was good,
It is good.
See,
You can
we're
kiss
not
my
being paid
ass,
up.
Gabe.
We're not being paid up.
You
dude.
clearly
It's
never watched
actually
all
good.
of them. I've never seen all of them. I've seen the first 4.
Yikes.
Joseph, you saying kiss my ass reminded me of last night. I was laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I was just thinking
I don't
about,
like where this is going.
and I was just
Me
thinking
either, dude.
I was just thinking about how funny like kiss my ass is. Like, like I'm just imagining like you're just talking to someone and they're like they say something you don't like, you're just like kiss my ass. Like like what are you even supposed to say to that? Like how are you supposed to fucking respond?
All right,
like
I'm
that was a
puckering
good-
up.
That was a good like not middle school, but like maybe a high school tier insult or like comeback.
I feel like it's making a comeback though. Like it's
I would
it's
agree.
having a resurgence because no one's used it in the past little bit. So
Because it's not super like
vulgar.
vulgar. Thank you. It's not super
Angry
vulgar. But it's not also like insanely like immature. I mean,
Mhm.
okay, it's immature, but it's not like middle school immature. You know
It's
what I
a good balance of like shock factor because it's one of those things. It's like I've thought about this a lot. Like calling someone a pussy, it's like okay, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Calling someone a coward,
Yes.
you don't hear that every day, and it cuts a little deeper.
Coward is such an underrated insult, dude. It is
I
so
agree.
good.
Like saying to like fuck off. It's like I get told to fuck off every other hour of my life. Like
Yeah,
I
and
don't.
it's a throwaway insult. Like anybody can
kiss
say
my
fuck off.
ass. And then if you go one level deeper and say like tongue punch my fart box or
Yeah.
like
Lick me
kiss
where
my
I fart.
starfish, like that's how you know. Like
I'm a
game
big
over.
fan of chocolate starfish. I
I'm
fucking
sure you are.
love Shut up. I fucking love that phrase. It puts people off balance so much. Like kiss my ass, whatever. Kiss my chocolate starfish, dude. They're
See,
like,
to
what
me
the fuck did you just say?
that's too many syllables though. Like
Okay, yeah.
it doesn't roll off
And
the tongue
it's
as
almost a little
well.
bit. It's also funny. Also, I mean, I feel like tongue
know.
punch my fart box is also in that category where it's like they start laughing instead of.
I think
Yeah,
I
but
think the
I guess
lick
the
me.
question is, what's the point of your insult? Like, what's your
But
objective?
I want them to think about it a little bit. Like, wait a second, what? Oh, that's what they're saying. Like, that's what I want them. That's my
I think
goal.
lick me where I fart is
I think-
that's a good middle ground.
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm.
I
Like-
feel like we would never say those things seriously to a stranger.
Oh no.
Like,
No.
I
Dude,
could see like
I've-
Joseph like getting like, let's say we're at a club. Joseph's going hard. He's just dancing his butt off, right? A little took us off. And some dude, stumbles over, bumps into him, and spills the drink on Joseph's shirt. Joseph's like, what the hell, man? He's like, oh, should have watched out. I could see Joseph going, kiss my ass. But I can't imagine Joseph going, lick me where I fart. Like, seriously.
Dude, I would hope he would do that. That'd be fucking hilarious. Can you imagine what he would do? He would be like,
I feel like he'd be too drunk and just be like,
It would break his brain.
"Fuck
yeah,
is this?"
exactly. It'd be fucking hilarious.
Dude, I've started giving people the thumbs down. like I remember I was driving to this parking lot and this lady almost hit me because she was like flying through the parking lot, like not in the lanes or anything like that. I was like going through the lanes and being a law-abiding citizen, and she freaking zips through like cross aisle, and I make eye contact with her and I just give her this thumbs down like this.
Dude, that's so much worse than the middle finger.
Oh,
It's so much
wait,
worse.
wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the exact same as
Coward.
fuck off versus coward. It's the
Yeah.
exact same. Yeah,
It's-
because fuck off is flicking them off,
Yeah.
but coward is like, no, thumbs down.
It's like I don't hate you. I'm disappointed in you.
I did that exact same thing, except it was like it's a 2-lane road and one's like a left turn lane and one's like going straight, and this person passed me right before like a light, to keep going straight, and I just thumbs down in the mirror, and I saw them just like put their hands up and like shrug their shoulders. And I was like, all right, fuck off. Like, now I'm upset, but like, come on.
See, the lady, I remember her. She just looked right at me and didn't even fucking make an expression. But I hope that she's haunted by this to this day. I hope.
I was only dating if you like went on your window and you go 0 stars.
Dude,
Would not recommend.
she probably still tells that story to like her family. Like, dude, one time I was all on the right, I was just merging, and this guy gave me a thumbs down.
Like, what the hell? Like, thumbs down? Who does that?
That's why it's like coward. It burrows in their brain and they can't forget it. And like, wait, am I actually a coward? Like, it was so funny because that was like an insult we threw around back at the house like a couple years ago. I don't know who came up with it, but we started saying it, and it was really funny. But on a different podcast recently, one of the hosts like, yeah, I was hanging out with like my nephews, and it's like, it's hard because you're playing video games with them and you want to like say something. You can't really insult like kids, and you can't swear. He's like, you know what's a great insult is coward. And I'm like, this guy gets it. And he's calling his nephews cowards, and I love it. Now we're in this area. Do you guys have any other like good insults you wanna talk about?
I remember at one point finding like a Shakespearean insult, like quote unquote generator, where it's like you pick two words from each list. And that was sometimes really good because it's, like like Shakespearean insults
Like
where
I bite my thumb at thee.
exactly.
That was so fucking dumb.
Yeah, but it's like that level that, the same thing where it's like it catches you off guard and you're not really sure what to do about it. Though I wish I had it offhand, but
I feel like that can, yeah, and honestly, I don't know exactly what they might be, Joseph, but I feel like that can wander a little bit into cringe territory.
yeah.
Like if we start going into old English on somebody, it's like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna take it seriously.
Yeah, they're just gonna be confused and walk away at that point.
Dude,
But I remember some of them being pretty good.
I remember someone unironically biting their thumb at me after we read Romeo and Juliet, and I was like,
Oof.
"This is the cringiest thing ever." Please stop.
we did the same thing at high school, except like we were all doing it ironically.
Right? Yeah, but this person was like nerdier than me. Imagine that.
Oh.
And like I probably said some stupid joke that was stupid and not funny, but I remember them like biting their thumb at me, like, so dumb.
I remember one in high school where this guy like sat at our lunch table or something like that, and like for some reason like he was being like a jackass to us, and like saying like mean shit. And I remember he basically like, I don't know, I feel like he called me like a dumbass or something like that. And I think I replied back to him with like, oh, did you just like use your entire vocabulary in that sentence? Because like it was a super like common
more than 3
insult.
syllables.
It was a super common insult. I'm just like, dude, that literally means nothing to me. Like it's too mainstream. And he's like, I have quite the extensive vocabulary. And then I hit him with the, oh, is your ass jealous of all the shit come out of your mouth?
That's a solid one right there.
And then he fucking just shut right up and then left the table, and I'm just like, damn, I'm gonna be fucking riding this high till I fucking get in the grave. Like
I've got 2 quick ones. One, I love calling people boxes of rocks. It's just like, oh, they're just a box of rocks. Like, you're just so stupid. A box of rocks is the equivalent of your intelligence. I love that insult so much because some people, I've told people, you guys hear me say it all the time, but people who don't even know what I mean, like, be like, oh yeah, that person's a box of rocks. They know what I mean. Like, they're like, oh, okay, that person, they're just.
I usually throw on dumber than a box of rocks.
Oh yeah, but I still like the phrase.
Yeah.
And I have a memory of like in middle school, it was middle school, and I was a nerdy kid, so I got bullied all the time. And there's one guy, guess his name, it's fucking Jalen, because that's what bullies' names are. But Jalen would always like try and like, I don't know, like pretend that I was like gay or something, and that was like funny to him. He'd be like, oh, do you want to kiss or whatever? And like it would just bother me, and I'd get disgruntled or whatever. And I remember telling my dad once, and he's like, "All right, here's what you say." Of course, my stepmom was off to the side. And the next day, we're in art class, and he goes, "Hey man, do you want to kiss?" And like, I just blurted out, "Kiss my ass!" Or like, and the art teacher just like looks at me and just goes, "All right, like good for you, bud." Like, you stood up. It was either kiss your ass or like kiss my dick or something stupid. And I was so proud of it because fucking dumb box of rocks Jalen just looked at me with this blank stare like, like, how do you come back from that?
Can you imagine being a middle schooler and asking someone if they want if like another guy wants a kiss? Like, I feel like that's like
Dude,
not.
that was all the humor back in those days. All the games.
No, that was
like,
really funny in middle school.
That was classic.
Like, that was how you bullied properly, apparently. But I remember, like, I just didn't think, and I just kind of like blurted out because I got excited that I got to say what my dad told me to say, and like the art teacher like was literally right next to him, and he just like, she didn't do anything. She was like, "I've heard what he said to you. Like, you get this one."
I brought it up before on the podcast, but I still don't understand it. Dipstick. That was an insult back in the day. I do not understand the origin of that insult. I know what a dipstick is now. I didn't know back then.
I think it's literally just dipshit.
Yeah,
but they're just trying to replace this word.
The same thing with like smart aleck. It comes from smart ass.
Yeah, you're right. But I think it's so funny to me that a dipstick is an actual thing.
Yeah. Well,
like,
that's probably
what is
like
a dipshit though?
Huh?
What's a dipshit?
I don't know. A dipshit,
Maybe dipshit came from dipstick. We don't know.
I can't imagine.
But yeah, dipshit was also a classic, early high school insult. I feel. I don't know. I feel it's a little bit better than dumbass, but not by much. It's a little
dipstick
lazy.
or dipshit.
Dipshit.
I feel like dipshit isn't used nearly as much as dumbass. I feel like dumbass is like pretty like.
That's pretty mainstream.
Yeah.
I remember.
Are you all right there, Dayton?
That's so funny.
I'm just remembering. Like, I feel like your inflection in your voice though can definitely like make or break an insult. Like, like if, for example, like if you just call someone like a son of a bitch, or if you're like, "Listen here, you son of a bitch," like I feel like that like make or breaks it. So if you're just like, "Dude, that guy's such a dipshit," or if you're like, "You know what? I think you're a fucking dipshit," like that like hits different.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like you're
son
like
of a bitch can be like a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen here, you son of a bitch.
Well, that sounded weird.
Son of a bitch. I know.
That was the point.
That was a little sexy game. A little too sexy.
I wasn't ready for that one.
I was looking in the
ASMR,
corner. I
I'm going
saw
to an-
Dane's eyes.
This is an ASMR podcast. So.
Yeah. I'm the captain now. I was gonna say, when I was in Latchkey, well, it's basically a fucking daycare. So in elementary school, my parents would get off at like 5, like normal, people, but like school would get done at like 3.
Normal people.
So I would have 2 hours where like I would just sit there and like wait, for them to be done with work or whatever. And there was one lady who was like, I don't know even what you call her, the person like watch all the kids. I remember her not liking like any form of vulgarity, and like when you're 8, it's anything. And at
Shut
one
up was a
point,
swear word.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So shut up was like, the worst thing you could say. And I remember her like, she like hit her breaking point, right? So she like made a list. She wrote down a sheet of paper words you can't say in the daycare. And there was one girl who was always so creative with her insults that she single-handedly accounted for like half of them. And I remember one so specifically because it's so fucking stupid. But I remember she said to like somebody, she's like, "You're a poop stick." And she fucking like, she heard it. She's like, "I'm adding that to the list." And she unironically wrote poop stick as words you can't say. But she like, the method of her writing it down was just so funny.
I can just
I want to
see her
meet
like.
that girl today. The girl who came with
Oh,
like half
dude,
a
me
swear
too.
word. What is she up to?
Yeah, she was very creative. I'll give her that.
That is some fantastic problem solving and creativity.
Right?
All right, well that's our show for this week. We had a good, I feel like we had a good insult side topic at the end there. So use those whenever you need them.
Yeah,
As
call
always,
people poop sticks, dude.
poop sticks and box of rocks.
A box of poop sticks.
Oh.
When I hear poop stick, I think of like a stick you use to break up poop when it like your toilet is
The
like
poop
clogged.
knife. That's
The
the
poop
Reddit
knife,
story.
yeah.
Oh
The Reddit
no,
story.
no,
It
no!
was like
We're
poop
done.
on the
We're
stick like a
fucking
corn
done.
dog.
We're done.
That's where Dayton draws the line. It's poop knives.
Let me do the rigmarole real quick to set us out.
Yeah,
Find our episode every
rigmarole.
Monday on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Play. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EWF Podcast, and follow us on Twitch at EWF_podcast. That's our show. Go combo somebody a poop knife. Bye.
Bye, you poop
Bye
sticks.
and kiss my ass.